Wednesday, May 28th. It's Hump Day. Where does the time go? God only knows where the time goes. The phones are ringing off the hook, though. That's a good thing. Let's go up to Canada and talk to Rita. Hey, Rita, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I wish I were feeling better.
Okay, well, maybe I can help.
Well, I sure hope so, because I'm feeling pretty desperate at the moment and confused.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, I have problems with my bowel and have for, a candida and bowel control for a long time. And I started in February, the 1st of February, doing the longevity program. I did it for over 2 months and had, gradually the bowel became normal. I was having normal movements and having really good success. And then, because my nails were cracking and dry skin, I decided to go from the osteo powder to the liquid.
Yeah.
And as I continued with the liquid, gradually things got worse and got back to pretty much where they were before. And then I was talking to Mike on the phone, and he suggested that I go back to the powder, but in the meantime, to take an ounce of the liquid osteo in orange juice. So I did that night, and I had diarrhea for most of the night, and it continued. And then it kind of calmed down a little bit, so I thought, well, I got the powder from somebody else, and I took the powder because I thought that was the answer. And I got worse diarrhea than I had before. I'll let you know, too, that I have a problem with magnesium, that I'm sensitive to it, so I was surprised that I was able to take the osteo with because that's quite a bit of magnesium. I also have high copper levels. I don't know what else.
Well, how do you know you have high copper levels?
I had been tested about 2 years ago.
With a blood work or urinalysis?
Urinalysis.
And did you challenge that urine analysis with DMSA? You take some DMSA before you did it?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so how do you know you have candida, by the way?
Well, I was told years ago that I had candida, and I have lots of problems with my bowel, so I assume it's candida.
Yeah, well, that's one of my pet peeves. I consider myself an expert in the field of candida and the gastrointestinal tract. And one of the problems with my profession, I get up on the stump every day and tell people what the problem with the MDs are, and I'm happy to do it because somebody needs to. But there's a problem in naturopathic medicine also, and every time you turn around, somebody's diagnosing somebody with candida, and candida, quite frankly, is a garbage can diagnosis. There's only one laboratory in the United States that even comes close to having a valid testing methodology for that, and it's a very easy thing to misinterpret. It's a very easy thing to diagnose, and it's just wrong. It's the wrong diagnosis. It's not there. So you may have this, you may not have this, but in any event, when we think about the gastrointestinal tract, in order to support and promote its structure and function, and especially if somebody has chronic symptomology in the gastrointestinal tract, like chronic constipation, chronic gas, chronic diarrhea, whatever,
right.
The first, second, third, and fourth things to consider before we consider anything else, like, heavy metal toxicity or candida or parasitic infections or an alien implant, right? Before we start considering anything else, we have to stop eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats.
I haven't been eating those for a long time.
Well, how long is long?
Maybe 6 months.
Okay, great. So, and now I have to tell you that one of the easiest things in the world to do is to eat a food that you wouldn't think has wheat, barley, rye, or oats in it, but it does. So you want to look to see when you switched out the products and everything started to go south and you got bad symptoms again.
Yeah.
You want to just look to see if inadvertently you were eating anything that had gluten in it, but you weren't aware of it. Now, the most common sources of that are soups, chowders, sauces, gravy, and licorice. Soups, chowders, sauces, gravies, and licorice. And it's easy to sneak that stuff in. Now, if you were gluten-free and you got these symptoms, by the way, were you taking selenium when you, and how much of that were you taking?
About 2 a day, probably. I was supposed to take more, but I would often forget, so I was probably taking 2 a day, but that didn't change. But I probably started taking more rather than less as I went along.
Well, because one of the signs of an overdose of selenium is your nails get funky and brittle. So the first thing that I would have counseled you to do is to cut down on your selenium dosage.
Okay.
If you get funky nails. Did anybody tell you that your breath started to get a little funny as well?
No.
Okay.
I don't know that it did. I had no idea that I saw that, I heard that, but I had no idea that I did.
Yeah, it's interesting because selenium and copper have an interesting relationship in the human body, and normally if somebody has high levels of copper, they have low levels of selenium and vice versa. So where are you, in the continuum here? I mean, where are you at, and have you stopped the supplements altogether, or what's going on?
The last few days I did because I've had diarrhea for the last week and a half, and the only thing that'll stop it is Imodium, and I'm so I guess I can use the word pissed off with everything that I'm kind of going crazy. I don't care what happens then. So
yeah, no, I get it. Well, and rightly so, right? I mean, because that's a hard road to hoe. No kidding. But, there's a rational explanation for this, and things don't just happen for no reason. One of the things that happens to the gastrointestinal tract, or quite frankly anything in the body, if you get a mosquito bite, right? It takes the mosquito, 20 seconds to bite you. But once it's bitten you, you're going to have a little bump on your skin for maybe 4 or 5 days, right?
Yeah.
It's going to take your body a while to heal the inflammation that was caused by the mosquito bite. Well, when you dump into your intestinal tract a nutritional supplement that's inappropriate, or, you haven't absorbed it appropriately, and it causes a chain reaction in your gastrointestinal tract and upsets the apple cart, it takes the body 2, 3, 4 days to recover from that, even if you stop taking it, because the damage has already been done, and we need to just back off on everything until everything calms down. So here's what I would recommend you do by way of experimentation. Number 1, really just double check to make sure that you haven't inadvertently been sneaking wheat, barley, rye, or oat gluten into your body, in something, okay? So double check that, okay? Start to eat 1 apple a day. 1 apple a day. With the skin, you don't have to eat the core or the pit. Just eat an apple a day. 1 apple a day.
Okay.
Make sure that you're drinking at least 12 ounces of water once a day. 12 ounces of water once a day.
12 ounces, that's all?
Well, at least, right?
Okay.
More is better, okay? But you want to at least be doing that. I don't want you to exercise for the next 3 days until this, or, until I don't want you to exercise. But by exercise, I mean I don't want you to go to the gym or get on a treadmill or do anything like that until this diarrhea stuff goes away. Okay?
Yeah, I haven't been actually going out of the house, and I don't want to be taking Imodium, so.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, yeah, it's a pain in the you-know-what, right?
It is, exactly.
I know. All right, so once things have settled down, which I anticipate will take maybe 48 hours, then I want you to go back to the original products that you were taking, the original products, okay?
Yes.
And 1 day at a time, I want you to take 1 dose only, 1 dose of each of the supplements. So the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, I want you to do just 1 level scoop in 12 ounces of water. and I want you to take 60 minutes to drink it down minimum, and look to see how you respond to that.
Now, are you telling me just to do that one thing that one day?
Correct.
Okay.
Because we're going to try to target and find out exactly which of the products are giving you trouble here, and this is the only way to do it, right? Yeah. Okay. Then the next day, I want you to do the essential fatty acids. I want you to do 2 essential fatty acids with breakfast or lunch, all right? 2 of those with breakfast or lunch. I would be very surprised if those cause any problem whatsoever.
Okay.
Then on the 3rd day, I want you to do the Beyond OsteoFX powder the same way that you did it when you first started.
Okay.
Now, if by day 3 you're good to go and there's nothing aggravating happening.
Now I'm taking just one of these each day.
Correct.
I'm not adding the next
Correct.
to it.
Yeah, so you only do the Beyond Tangy on day 1.
Right.
On day 2, you only do the fish oil, and on day 3, you only do the calcium. All right. And I don't want you to do the selenium anymore. All right.
Okay.
Not yet. Now, if by day 3, right, once you've added the 3rd supplement, everything is good and there's no worries.
Yes.
Then on day 4, I want you to go to the full dose for your body weight.
Okay.
Okay, of everything.
Of everything. Okay, do all of them.
Yep. Okay. But remember, have Mike Phillip send you a link to a webinar that I did called Maximizing the Absorption of Your Supplements. All right?
Okay.
Because, there's a way to take this stuff, to dilute it in certain quantities and to take it with a meal or between meals or whatever in order to increase your body's efficiency at absorbing the stuff. And then on day 5, right, call me back and tell me what happened, and I'll tell you what to do moving forward. Sound like a plan?
That's a great plan,
All right, Rita, we're all out of time in this segment. I'm sorry. It's an interesting thing to think about, isn't it? Right? It takes just a second or 2 for inflammation to happen in the body, but then it takes a number of days for it to go away. And, if you squeeze lemon juice on your hand, no problem whatsoever. But if you squeeze lemon juice onto a cut on your hand, that's a big problem. So, depending on the integrity of your intestinal tract, depending on the integrity of your stomach, depending on the integrity of your colon, the nutritional supplements that we recommend are either going to be easily absorbed, not so easily absorbed, or they're going to be hardly absorbed at all. And if there's inflammatory tissues in and around the gut, when the nutritional supplements come into contact with them, they're going to cause, fear and loathing. But again, this is not because it's the nutritional supplement that's doing it, because if that were the case, everybody who took it would get that symptom. It's a direct indication that something is wrong with your intestinal tract and that, we need to look there in order to help get your body back on track. Florida's up next with Debbie. Hey, Debbie, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, Dr. G, how are you?
I'm good, Debbie. What's happening?
Hi, I'm one of your insiders, and I was on the question and answer webinar last night, and I was one who typed in about the bruised ribs.
Yeah.
Well, you told me to get the Arnica Montana and the 1M.
Yeah.
And all I could find was the 30 Cs.
Yeah.
So
okay.
you told me to take 2 pellets 3 times a day. Is that the same amount that I would on this?
Smart girl, smart question, good question. So, no. The homeopathic medicines are made in different dilution schedules. And the different dilution schedules are indicated by the number after the homeopathic medicine, right? So, and here's how it goes. It starts with 6C, and then 12C, and then 30C, then 200C, then 1M, then 10M, then 50M, then 100M, than MM. Actually, interesting. So, depending on the dilution of the homeopathic that you get, you're going to need to take it more or less frequently, depending on what we're up to. So, with a 30C strength of Arnica montana for a bruised rib, in order to support and promote your body's ability to optimize the structure and function of a bruised bone in the body, the recommendation would be 2 pellets every 3 hours while you're awake for 1 day. 2 pellets every 3 hours while you're awake. Now, homeopathy, when applied acutely, is black or white. It either works or it does not work. And you will know, by the time you go to bed tonight, whether or not it's worked. Now, the curious thing about homeopathy is, and this is completely counterintuitive, and it is exactly the opposite of what we do with medical nutrition. With homeopathy, especially in an acute situation, when you take a dose or 2 or 3 or 4 of the homeopathic medicine and you experience relief, a noticeable, measurable relief, you stop taking the homeopathic. You would think, well, I'm just going to keep taking it, but you stop taking it, which is the opposite of what we do with vitamins, right? We take vitamins every day, regardless. But homeopathy is not like that. Homeopathy is like jump-starting a dead battery in a car, and when you do that and the engine turns over, you don't keep the batteries hooked up, right? You remove the cables and you stop the jump process. Well, when a homeopathic kicks in, you stop it. So the recommendation is 2 pellets every 3 hours until you go to bed. And by bedtime, you should have noticed whether there's been a strong positive change. If there's been no strong positive change after 3 or 4 doses of that homeopathic, then it's not going to work, and you could take a truckload of it. It wouldn't do anything. So have you ever done a homeopathic before?
No, this is the first time.
Yeah, it's an interesting field of endeavor. The first 12 years of my medical career were spent almost exclusively with the therapeutic use of homeopathy. That's all that I did. Didn't do medical nutrition, didn't do herbs, didn't do diet, didn't do detox, just did homeopathy. And I have to tell you, homeopathy, when properly prescribed, is miraculous. You wouldn't believe the things I've seen people recover from with homeopathy. But you're going to know, by the 4th or the 5th dose whether it's working or not. And if it's not working, call me back tomorrow, and I'll tell you what to do next. I appreciate you, Debbie, very much. Give it a try and get. California's up to bat now. Leon. Maybe it's Leon Russell. We'll see. Hey, Leon, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, Doc. Thank you very much for sharing. I've been listening to you a lot. Found your website, I did become a distributor, but, the people really who I talk to really haven't been helpful in giving me a lot of information. I've listened to many of your pre-recorded archive things. I signed up for the annual membership also on your website, and I also ordered your CDs last week. So I'm looking forward to learning from you.
All right, well, let me tell you this about that, Leon. I appreciate you very much, and this is the deal, right? So there is a way to show this message to people that will chase them away from you, and there's a way to show this to people that will attract them to you. And it would behoove you and everybody else, right, to learn how to do it the easy way and the correct way. And on my website, as part of an insider, in addition to all of the health stuff, I think we have 5 hours of archived business training. So my advice to you would be to watch each one of the business training webinars, and we give you instructions and homework to do right after each one. And if you follow the advice laid out in the business training, your experience with generating an income with longevity and actually being able to capture people and get them to give it a try is going to go up exponentially. And if you don't do that, well, maybe every once in a while we find someone who's a natural at this, right? And they're just, I mean, it just comes easily to them. But if that's not you, it can become a very frustrating process. And, it's like, holy smokes, how stupid are people? I'm telling you, it can become very, very frustrating, man.
Exactly.
So I'm telling you, a little bit of knowledge in the business goes a long way towards making your life easy, and you don't feel you don't feel like a failure, because it's easy to feel like a failure with longevity or with any other situation like this, because if you can capture 25% of the people that you talk to, you're a genius. 25% is a really, really good number. And if you become a student of the business, if you become a student of the enrollment process, and if you become like the longevity Jedi in how you talk to people about this, I mean, everything changes. And so I'm glad that you found us, and I'm looking forward to help you as much as I can.
Well, I thank you for that. And I can't agree with you more, because, especially here in the U.S., because people will sometimes put up the crucifix and say, no, don't talk to me. No, we don't want to know about it. Especially if it's family.
Oh, my God. Tell me about it. Well, don't feel bad, buddy. My parents wouldn't listen to me, and it was me. So, that's like they say, the prophet is never accepted in his hometown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
it's
along that line, I'm trying to get information not only for myself and what I should do, but more importantly, and I did send you an email, and I sent it to a couple of places trying to hopefully get it in your hand, but I'm calling about my sister. My sister, who for maybe 30 years, and she's about 55 years old now, she had scleroderma. And, she really never talked about it, but for all these years, we've seen her put on a little weight, but now she's really slender. And she's never really talked about her condition until recently she hurt her back. So she went in for an X-ray. And in the X-ray, they said, well, what's this spot on your lung? Let's go look. So just this week, they went ahead and did a biopsy. And it turns out that she has lung cancer. So she's not one for nutrition, because I have been involved with other things in the past, but family doesn't want to listen. They're stubborn. And she's not really taken anything, and I don't think the doctors have done much by way of prescription. I'm sure they give her some kind of meds, but obviously it's nothing that's healed her, cured her, helped her. So now we're looking at lung cancer, and we don't know yet if anything spread to the brain. That's probably going to be the next set of tests this week. So what should she be doing on a massive scale to change her condition or improve her condition?
Well, the first thing she has to do is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? So the first thing she has to do is wrap her head around the notion that there's legitimacy to naturopathy and to science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. The single best way that I've seen to kind of open up that part of a person's brain, people who, think that they're skeptical, they're really not skeptical, because if they were skeptical, then they never would take anything that the MDs hand out. Because, a truly skeptical person would ask the MD, well, who makes the drug? How does the drug work? What are the side effects? Is the drug going to cure the condition? How much money are you going to make from giving me this drug? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But nobody asks those questions to the MDs, but they'll ask all those questions to us, thinking that they're skeptical. They're not skeptical. They're closed-minded conformists, and there's a great deal of difference between a truly skeptical person and a closed-minded conformist. But in order to leverage people's brains towards the light, to open up a little crack in their brain and let the light in a little bit, the single best way to do that, in my experience, has been with the Dead Doctors Don't Lie CD. Right. That CD is brilliant. And because of the person that it's coming from, Dr. Wallach, and the way that he delivers the message, it really just resonates with people, and it helps people to just consider for a moment that there might be something to this nutritional stuff. And I think that's the best place to start, by way of a kind of a psychological, a psyops operation here, to try to open her mind up to the possibility of what we're up to. It's the Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Now, that's been edited. The best way to get that is the latest iteration is called The Best of Dead Doctors Don't Lie, right? So I would get her to listen to that. And if she doesn't want to listen to it, you know what I would do? I'd say, hey, sis, let's go out for a drive. I'd get onto the highway, I'd put the CD into my car, and I'd turn it up, and I just wouldn't get off the highway until it was over, and I would force her to listen to it, right?
Right.
Number one. Number two.
That's the story that Blake did. Blake has to do the same thing with his mother.
I know. That's what exactly correct. And that's what turned his mother. And that was a great story. So another thing that you want to do, just by way of kind of education, is cut, copy, and paste from my book the 10 questions you need to ask her oncologist. And you should encourage her to ask her oncologist these 10 questions, politely, with a recording device and a witness. And if she can actually get the gumption up to ask her oncologist these questions, then the answers that the oncologist gives her will help her to see what's really going on. It's kind of like pulling back the curtain. The problem with cancer treatment is that everybody is so freaking scared. The medical doctor could tell them to jump off the roof of the hospital and people would do it, right? Because they're just in the fear factor, and we've been conditioned to believe anything that comes out of the MD's mouth. So when you just ask simple, straightforward questions, does the treatment that you're recommending cure my cancer? I mean, that's a pretty good question. When people just ask the questions in sequential order and listen to the answers that the oncologist gives, then they have more of kind of a grounding in reality. And whenever somebody's more grounded in reality, it's easier for them to make appropriate choices. All right, now having said all of that, selenium supplementation has been proven to decrease the occurrence of lung cancer by 33%, even in smokers. So we can postulate that if selenium supplementation decreases the occurrence of cancer, it would be prudent for somebody to take who was in the lungs it would be prudent for somebody to take who was trying to optimize the structure and function of their lungs. Remember, we do not treat cancer. That's illegal. We don't treat cancer. We don't treat scleroderma. We don't even treat arthritis. We support and promote the body's ability to fix itself, and that's a different animal entirely. So the recommendation here, if I were your sister, what I would do is I would do 1 anti-aging healthy start pack and 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 anti-aging healthy start pack, 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. I would do
2 bottles. Are we talking about 2 bottles?
Yep, 2 bottles. 2 bottles of selenium. Yep, per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Yep.
So she weighed, say, 140 or 150. So 150, say.
Well, I'd give her the 200-pound dose then. Because we have to intervene aggressively, right?
Yeah, we do. So
all right.
So that would be 4 bottles a month.
Yep, 4 selenium, 2 anti-aging healthy start packs. I would give her 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily capsules a month. 1 bottle of Ultimate Dailies. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I would give her a glucogel in capsule form. I'd give her the glucogel in capsule form. 1 bottle of the 240 count a month. 1 bottle of the 240 count glucogel a month capsules. And finish it off as much Z-Radical as she can afford. If she can afford a bottle a day, then that's what I would get. If she can afford,
what is it called?
Z like zebra, radical.
Uh-huh.
Z like zebra, radical, Z-Radical. I would do a bottle a day if she can afford it. If she can't afford that, a bottle a week, a bottle every 2 weeks, a bottle every 3 weeks, a bottle a month, whatever. But Z-Radical would be what I would do a lot of were I given this diagnosis. I would also have her get Dr. Wallach's CD. He did an audio CD with another doctor. I forget this guy's name, but they did a whole series on juicing, vegetable juicing. And Dr. Wallach used to work at an alternative cancer treatment center in Mexico. And they came up with some very innovative therapies to support and promote the bodies of people who were suffering with cancer. Fresh squeezed vegetable and fruit juice therapeutics was an integral part of what they did there, and Dr. Wallach has a whole instructional video CD series about that. So you want to visit his website to check that out. It's drjwallach.com, drjwallach.com, or maybe Wellness Publications, one of the two. Wellness Publications might be a better place, wellnesspublications.com, in order to find that. But I tell you what, man, the hardest thing here is going to be, getting her into action, right?
Right.
And the best way to do that is try to strike a chord, because remember, all that we do with longevity is tell the truth and point. And the truth will resonate inside of her, and she's either going to answer the call or not, and, that's her deal. It's not your deal. Whatever she does, that's her business, that's her karma, that's her, path through life. But at least you can show it to her, and then be there if she chooses to listen to your advice. That's how I would handle it, Leon. And here comes the music. We're up against a break. Appreciate the phone call. Is there anything else I need to talk to you about?
You're probably out of time, and I thank you all for the time. I did send an email that will maybe get to you.
All right, Leon. I'll look for it. I'll look for it, brother. Welcome back, everybody. Doris from New Jersey is up next. I'm going to pot her up in just a second here. Celeste from L.A. had a question about yellow urine, and this is a normal occurrence. If you're taking anything with B vitamins in it, and the Longevity Beyond Tangy Tangerine is loaded with them, they will turn your urine bright yellow. This is an indication that they are working in your system, not that you are peeing them out. The goal here is to get the urine to be a straw-colored yellow, not a bright neon yellow. So you want to mess around with the dosage and how you're taking the stuff, how concentrated it is, how long you're taking to drink it, in order to get the straw yellow color. Neon yellow means that you're drinking too concentrated a dose too quickly, but there's nothing there to be concerned about whatsoever. Let's go to New Jersey now and talk to Doris. Hey, Doris. Thanks for the call.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm good. What's up?
I got two things to ask. Is there any help for herniated disc in the neck? And,
yes, the answer is yes. Yep.
It's also pushing on her nerves in her hands, so both of her hands are numb.
Yeah. How old is this woman?
She's 53.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, so, we can support and promote the structure and function of intervertebral discs and any cartilage in the body, really. The problem with disc support is that the intervertebral discs in the body have not a whole lot of blood flow goes to the discs, right? A ton of blood goes to the liver, a ton of blood goes to the kidneys, right? But not a lot goes to the discs. So the discs take a long time to fix themselves, I would have her visit a chiropractor who specializes in neck stuff, because there's stuff that the chiropractor can do to relieve the pain and the tension while she's waiting for the medical nutrition to kick in. She can use the CM cream topically on her neck, around, the part of her neck where the discs are herniated, because that will knock down the inflammatory process in a way that's not going to kill her. She can do that externally, while internally, the recommendation is the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, right? So it's 1 Healthy Bone and Joint Pack and 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 Healthy Bone and Joint Pack and 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and have her use that CM cream liberally on her neck. And she should know within 4 weeks whether it's helping or not, right? She should know within 4 weeks.
Right.
Another big bugaboo here, right, is, inflammation is involved with everything, right? And especially when there's pain, there's a heightened inflammatory process going on. And so, if there was a little tiny fire in your backyard and you went out and sprinkled gasoline on it, it would get worse.
Right.
But if there wasn't a fire in the backyard and you went out and sprinkled gasoline, well, nothing happens, right? Except, it might poison the grass, right? So whenever there's an ongoing chronic inflammatory process in the human body, when that person then eats the 10 bad foods, it makes it worse.
Makes it worse.
Yeah, it's
so
like
that also helps the carpal tunnel in the wrist.
Yeah, so now carpal tunnel syndrome is slightly different. Carpal tunnel, we believe, is caused in part by a deficiency in a strange mineral called molybdenum. And let me spell that for you. MOLY, B like baby, D like Daniel, ENUM, molybdenum. But no worries, because the molybdenum is present in the plant minerals. So in order to support and promote the carpal tunnel in the wrist, the recommendation would be the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, interestingly enough.
Healthy brain.
Yeah, but you want to add to that 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals per 100 pounds per 50 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals per 50 pounds of body weight per month, because that has the molybdenum in it. And Doris, everybody's got to stop the 10 bad foods. Appreciate you very much. Spencer in Alaska, sorry I couldn't get to you. Sharon in Tennessee, sorry I couldn't get to you. Call me tomorrow. I'll put you up first. I'll look forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, live long and prosper, God willing, and the creek don't rise. See you tomorrow.